What is going on, everyone? Israel back again with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about MLB expansion just because this was a good article last year from The Athletic that I've never actually talked about, but I'm going to give an update on the expansion and where this is currently at and what I kind of want to see moving forward if they did do 32 teams. So once again, this article was from The Athletic last year on their divisions they had between what they would kind of see, and they wanted to do 4 divisions in each conference, kind of like football does it, but it doesn't really make sense in my opinion. I'll explain why in just a minute. Yeah, and I just also don't like this. It's also just horrible in my opinion because you have to fix the playoffs and all that stuff. 4 divisions. It's not football. We play way too many games that 4 divisions in my opinion. So this is the current MLB map right now, and we can see all the teams. I think my camera's cutting off the Marlins down here, but the Marlins are there. So what we know is that obviously the A's are moving to Sacramento for 3 years, then to Vegas in 2028. The Royals are looking to get their stadium in Kansas City in 2028, and the Rays are expected to stay as of right now in Tampa in 2028. They're expected to get that new stadium. We'll see if that happens. I'm kind of highly doubted the Tampa one right now. And then we all think, what, 2030 is like the expansion draft or whatever. And it's supposed to be Nashville. Nashville is like the guaranteed one, I think you could say, in the East. I don't think there's any other really city that has been like really good as Nashville. We've seen the Brewers try to threaten Nashville. We've seen the White Sox right now kind of debating on going to Nashville if they can get the new stadium in Chicago. There's been talks with a couple other teams that have threatened to move to Nashville just because it's the most hyped about city right now. If we had to add a team in the West, obviously the A's would be in Vegas, so it'll be interesting. Remember, Portland was a thing which kind of got shut down now because the crime is way too bad in that city, and it's also the proposal wasn't good. They don't really like the group there either. Obviously, Utah just got the hockey team, so I don't know if they would be willing to buy an MLB team, especially with the whole Delta Center thing and that whole situation. They're going to renovate it. So I don't know if they'd be want to buy another franchise, so that might be out of the question too, which would only leave Sacramento, depending on how the A situation goes. I really think there is a possibility there's a move to Sacramento eventually, just depending on how the A's draw and everything like that. But if that city's also out the way, then I would really have no idea, unless, because in the article it mentioned Charlotte, because Charlotte's another one that's really popular. But I don't know if they want to do 2 in the East. They've never really done that before. If we take a look at the history right here, if we look at the 1977 one, it was Seattle in the West, then Toronto in the East. Then if we look at the 93 one, it was the Rockies in the West, and the Marlins in the East. And obviously the most recent one was in 98 with the Diamondbacks in the West and the Rays in the East. So they've never really done something like that before with 2 in the East. Maybe it could work, but there's not that many cities that really look good for baseball. If you take a look at Wikipedia, this is also what they say on their future picks. It goes in depth on all the teams. So Portland, Sacramento, Salt Lake in the West. We got Montreal, Nashville, Raleigh, Charlotte, and Orlando. So it pretty much goes in all depth on this site about how they've came to be, what group are they a part of, and that stuff. I'll leave this down below in the description if you guys want to read at least the descriptions. But a lot of these are NBA teams. If you look at the Portland and Orlando situation, I think the Raleigh has the hockey team with obviously the Hurricanes, Sacramento with the A's, which we talked about a little bit earlier. Obviously now it's Salt Lake City with the Utah Jazz owner and then the hockey team. Then obviously Nashville, Montreal, Charlotte, all don't have other previous teams and owners like that, so it's pretty much their own group, at least in the US, because once again Montreal has been brought up a ton. I think Vancouver's even been brought up. I don't know if that's even a thing, because you need a dome stadium for any of these in Canada. And the problem with expanding to Canada is Toronto owns the rights to all of the country pretty much. When after Montreal moved to obviously DC, they pretty much have the rights to everything in Canada. So I don't know how that situation would even work. Same with the Sacramento thing. I don't know if the Giants also own that region, because they own the Bay Area pretty much, at least with the TV deals. So it would be really hard to find another city actually in the West, unless you consider a San Antonio or Austin. That's technically in the West, I guess you could say. But I don't think there's a small group, I think, in Austin, but it's not really big enough, I think, to get a team right now. So that's the current things that we know about this whole expansion thing in general. Let's say we had the team in Nashville and we had a team in Austin or Salt Lake City. We had 32 teams. Me personally, I would like them to just get rid of the divisions, because honestly doing this I think would just look horrible. No one is winning that East division. All those teams are playoff teams, which is just weird. Some of these divisions they have are just really weird in my opinion, and I just don't think they'd be good. I would love to see them just get rid of the divisions in my opinion, because at this point the division winner wouldn't even really matter anymore, just because there's 8 of them, and there's only 12 teams in the playoffs, so it wouldn't even matter. I would like to just see 16 teams, 2 different leagues, American, NL, and then top 6 make it. That's what I would like to see. But for example, if we had an extra team in the NL, I would just want the top 6 teams to make it. The first 2 would get the bye, and then 3 would play 6, and then 4 would play 5. That's how I would like to see it. I think it's just the best way to do it. There's just some situations where some teams just don't make it, and I think it's kind of stupid. I'd rather just see it like this. Same in the AL. You have the top 2 teams, have the bye, then 3 would play 6, 4 plays 5. That's how I would like to see it. If you add an extra team. I think the divisions, the way they kind of do it with the whole wild card situation, is kind of whatever, in my opinion. Like, I don't know. I think it can screw some teams over. If you have like a stacked division, just like, the AL East, for example, this season, like it does screw some teams over the way this is kind of done. But I don't know. That's what I would like to see. Just because 4 division winners, like, and then you have 2 wild cards, it would just be kind of weird. It would just screw more teams over. Because if you had 4 division winners and 2 wild cards, I mean, this whole division can't even make the playoffs, which is kind of crazy to think about. That's what I like to do. Just scrap this whole division concept. Get rid of the divisions. I'm not a big fan of this division system. I mean, we've seen in the past, like, the AL Central's been really weak the last couple of seasons. The Twins have gotten in a couple times, barely even over 500. They just get smoked in the first round. Shouldn't even been a playoff team, in my opinion. So there's a couple situations like that, but I would just like to see that 16, and then you have the top 6 from that make it to go to the postseason. The only other sport that actually does the division system well is hockey, in my opinion. They have 32 teams. They have 4 divisions of 8, which is pretty cool. And then pretty much top 3 make it, and then the best 2 wildcard teams, which happens to be 4 and 4 from, I'm pretty sure, both of the divisions this year. But this is also the best system, in my opinion, because it pretty much guarantees that 3 to 4 teams of each division are getting out, so about half the division, which I just like a lot better. I just think it's way better that way. So that's why I think hockey does a great job of this. This system just guarantees teams to get out, which I think is better. Obviously, they have 8 in the postseason, so it's a little bit different at 32 teams. I think the MLB would probably do that, go to 8 if they had 32 teams. I'd imagine they get pushed whenever the agreement's up. So what do you guys think about that moving forward? Would you guys like to have no divisions and do the top 6 teams from the conference? Or would you like to do what hockey has and have 4 divisions and have 8 teams in them, running up to 32? I think it'd be a lot better if one of those 2 formats. I think with this current format, it works great with the 30 teams. But adding extra teams on top of this format just wouldn't work. 6 teams in a division is definitely a lot, and I don't think it would work. What do you guys think about that moving forward? That's kind of my thoughts on this situation. I want to hear your opinion down below in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. Do you hate it, love it? What would you like to see? And that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.